a story that is a great overlap is this story from Newsweek about J.K. Rowling and YouTuber Vaush sparring over International Women's Day, mainly because one of the critiques against Vaush, one of the most common ones, is about his comments on young children and sexualization of them.
Yes.
And so he is an interesting character in this, in that he kind of embodies a lot of these critiques we're talking about.
Yeah.
So this story is, you may have seen it, it's actually from 5 days ago. J.K. Rowling called Vaush likened him to an abusive ex-husband who used to tell me my life would be great if only I'd comply, but you're making the same mistake he did. Women like me can't be bullied out of resistance. There's a couple things I find interesting here that's worth talking about. One, I don't know if you saw this, but recently, what's her name? Emma Watson? Is that her name, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she said, I'm here for all the witches. And then everyone clapped. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but a lot of people are assuming she was making like a trans-affirming statement or something.
She looked gutless when she said it, so I think she was.
All the witches? Is that what she said?
She said,
like, all the witches.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what does that mean?
I'm here for all the ladies, I think.
But J.K. Rowling's an interesting subject in this, and interestingly, Vaush is as well, because we're talking about the weird grooming of children and stuff like that. Vaush has been heavily criticized for that. J.K. Rowling, is an interesting story. For those that aren't familiar, I mean, this is the gist of the story. She said, someone please send the Shadow Minister for Equality as a dictionary and a backbone. Happy International Women's Day. And then Vaush said, women be quieter and start apologizing challenge, to which she responded with that, you're like an abusive ex-husband. He said, listen, Joanne, you don't get to play the victim card when you're the advocate for taking away women's rights here. Trans women are raped and killed in men's facilities, and you want to keep them there because of your trauma. Quit making your feelings other people's oppression. Ugh. For this, my attitude is like, and I said this before, it is not to be cute or hyperbolic or facetious. I believe that Vaush is a men's rights activist.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, saying women shut up, or women be quiet and start apologizing. Like a language like that 10 years ago, they'd call them an MRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even socialists were called MRAs. So this is like this story and the issues around J.K. Rowling and everything that's going on. Man, I really just want to reiterate the point. There are two different realities. We know it. It includes war, it includes law, it includes politics, it includes culture. And this is where the two realities just clash all the time.
Well, it's sort of fascinating, right? Because we have set up an alternate reality as a culture. We have social media and the online realm, which is an alternate reality. Do you guys remember Second Life, where you could live in a virtual realm? And now you have Meta, which is like, Second Life Part 2 or whatever, where you can live in a virtual realm. So as we are creating this alternative reality that we all engage in every day, and if you're in media, you engage in it constantly, like I'm always on Twitter or whatever. And then there's real life. And when you talk to people in real life, they know fully that men and women are different and that biological sex is innate. And then when you talk to people online, they don't know that. So it's like this battle of which realm of reality is going to, which dimension is going to win the war of what's true.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is when you have concepts of transgender ideology, which also is backed by, concepts of transhumanism, which is the intentional evolution of humanity with the help of technology, right? So you have Zoltan Istvan, who's a transhumanist who ran for president a few years ago. He didn't have a chance, obviously, but there he was out there. We are grappling with this. We are grappling with the question of what is real, what is truth, what is reality. And, I wonder what is going to happen. It's fascinating to watch it. And as our culture moves further into the realm of transhumanism, where we, believe that our bodies and minds are two different entities that are at certain times apparently at war with one another, in the realm of transgender ideology anyway, your body and mind are sort of at war. What is going to happen? It's a fascinating situation and also terrifying.
Have y'all seen the film Surrogates?
No.
It's a interesting movie. Bruce Willis. It's a future where people have these like pods they lay in, and they plug in, and their consciousness is transferred to a surrogate body, a robot version of themselves. And so you see like Bruce Willis is looking all like perfect, his hair is to the side or whatever. It's like combed, and he can run super fast and jump super high because it's a robot body. Then he wakes up old and disheveled and wrinkled in his apartment. No one goes outside anymore because it's dangerous. You got to send your surrogate out in your stead. In the opening, there's a guy and a woman come out of a club and they're hooking up. And then someone is able to kill them through their surrogate. So it's like a big deal. When the police go to the woman's apartment, they're like, "Ma'am, are you here?" And they find a 400-pound morbidly obese man, sitting like in his chair, whatever, having died or whatever. And so I think that's an interesting concept. They did that. There's something with when people are given the choice to project themselves as whatever they want, like they can on the internet, as either a cartoon animal or identityless, anonymous.
Right.
They just choose what they wish they were.
Right.
And I wonder if one thing that drives identity crisis in people is living too much on the internet as opposed to living in your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we don't live in our bodies as much as we used to, for sure. You can even tell with like so many of our trends are about trying to make your body okay. You've been sitting for too long.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe you should exercise.
Yeah.
You've been ordering in for too long. People have been bringing you food for too long. Eat this protein.
But so I'm wondering if, you look at the metaverse. I don't know if you've seen the videos or like Mark Zuckerberg.
They are terrifying.
What the heck?
But they look like Mii's, like from the Nintendo Switch or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Cool,
They
yeah.
don't, or like from the Wii, I guess. But they don't look like humans. I'm wondering if people will start identifying as that. And then,
Right.
because that's what you see as a person. That's who you interact with. I'm wondering if a lot of what we're seeing, because the identity crisis stuff isn't just trans. It's
sort of everybody.
otherkin.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with otherkin, Kelly?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
people
like
who
the
think
puppies.
they think they're dragons.
Yeah.
Or there's that
owls.
whole like refuge in Colorado of a bunch of people who think they're cats.
Ah, what?
And they go
What?
there for like
What?
cat people orgies and things.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
kidding.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're
Hey,
having.
but-
I think all of this stuff. I think it's a transhumanist culture war. I think
Oh,
that's
Yes.
what we have
hopeful.
going on.
I'm hopeful. I think real human connection is actually a really powerful thing. And whilst we may trend away from it and people may shy away from it somewhat, I don't think we can escape it. I think I can't live in a world in which we are heading towards not touching each other and
But we're already there. Like
Yeah, I know.
And you mentioned surrogates, like,
20-year-olds are having less sex than ever
Yeah, it's
before.
true.
More like A for asexual is part of the LGBTQ alphabet soup,
Yeah.
right? It's all in there. Asexual is a sexual
Wow.
identity. There's less sex, less people want to have kids. There's less touching. There's less
Do
dating.
you not think that we will get to a point though where this unpersonal chaos will just reach peak, and then we will just revert back to, maybe if there's a
maybe
massive
they-
war.
Right?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
if there's a reason for all of us to run screaming into the woods.
But it has to do
There
with
have been so many.
the internet and video games and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. If we keep living in digital spaces, then it'll only get worse.
It could be that our species is splitting. I was watching like Evolution of Humanity documentary last night. You see the branches of trees and then like the Homo erectus, and then you've got the hominids that come out of that, and like they appeared. You'll have like Neanderthals and Homo sapiens came together, but we were different. So like now we've got another race of like computer zealots that are like agenderless computer hominids, and then we've got everyone else that's still Homo sapien.
So you're saying the next stage in human evolution is bodiless conscious entities that exist in digital spaces?
Maybe, but the problem with that is all through history, when a species splits, they go to war with each other, and like one of the branches will end up becoming dominant. So
Like X-Men.
we might see that. And if they have like brain neural plants and they can move machines with their minds, that's going to be hard to defeat in a war. So
Well, but why? Yeah. That's interesting too, with like Neuralink and stuff.
Like Terminator.
Well, sort of, but imagine, look, it's not going to be, if you were going to break it down towards who is most likely to get Neuralink, it's going to be city, urban, liberal types.
Sure.
Not going to be conservatives.
And that is a transhumanist thing, the
Right.
Neuralink.
And
for
so what
sure.
happens then when, the people who live in cities are Neuralinked, so they have direct access to the summation of human knowledge, for better or for worse, and then you're going and competing against somebody who doesn't. Like in certain areas, they're going to end up being better than you at certain tasks and certain
There's also
things.
sort of I was talking to a friend of mine about this who has cerebral palsy, right? And so there's a lot of things that he can't do. And I was slamming all this stuff, Neuralink and the idea that there would be these surrogates, because we had talked about that, like that you could go out as somebody else and he was like, that all would be awesome for me because I can't do shit, and he was very like, if that were happening now, I would go move my random weird arm with my neural link that I can't move now.
And it'll be communism.
Right.
You know why?
Why?
If you took every single human body and put them in pods and then plugged them into the matrix, their limitations would be defined mathematically by the code, not by their physical bodies, which is somewhat randomized. So you could be 6'5", 200 pounds of, 280 pounds of pure muscle in your pod. In the digital world, you are a weak.
I was thinking that last night. I was
Identical to everybody
at my
else.
computer
Right.
and I like
That's
blew my
interesting.
nose and threw the tissue away and thinking like all this stuff I just did. I picked up the thing and I blew my nose and I took a sip and threw it. Like that was all in a computer. If I was in a computer simulation, I couldn't be able to do the variety of calculations that I can do in this reality. There's this like limitless potential of actions that you can take in base reality. And like exactly what you were just saying, in the metaverse, you're bound by the code. You can't go chop down the thing and take a sip of because it isn't real. It's just it's the illusion of the system.
I mean, depending on how complex the system is.
Yeah.
But when you're playing in video games online, your character, like if you're playing like World of Warcraft, for instance, online video game, you can be stronger than another character, but everyone is given an equal starting point and everyone's given a relatively equal ending point, though some items are rare and harder to get. You got to work harder. For the most part, if all, in the real world, some people are better than others.
Extremely limiting. The video games are extremely, extremely limiting. I imagine having children is like the most adventurous thing you could ever do. Like if you want to have a mind adventure, I would imagine that's interacting and creating a human. And then being in a relationship where you can like change your body at will in ways you didn't understand that it could be changed. Like
Maybe the easiest way to break down what's happening is not authoritarian versus libertarian. It's not multicultural democracy and constitutional republic. It's literally transhumanist versus what's the word for someone who's not a transhumanist?
A human.
Luddite.
Humans.
They'll call them Luddites, but
Right.
that's the negative connotation.
What's the
of
other
it.
word? Like
Humanist.
troglodytes?
Humanisms.
Yeah.
No, they would call them
humanists.
like
Humanists
troglodyte.
versus
base human or something.
Yeah.
cishuman.
Are you
perhaps?
human plus? You're gonna go to a bank and they're like, and are you human plus or are you base human? I'm human plus.
Would you like the
plug in your
premium plan?
The premium plan. Plug in your Neuralink and we'll give you the $50 gift card. Like,
So is it like homo cyberneticist?
I think
is that
that
what's
will
up there?
happen. I think
I
that
do.
stuff will happen.
Yep.
Yeah, because we'll all just have little RFID chips in our hands.
It's going to
open-
get brain hacked, and those people
Right.
are all going to be tracked and in like a hive mind.
yeah,
Right?
but they're gonna like it, dude.
But they want it.
They won't know they're in it.
They want it.
Yeah.
As
They
soon
want
as-
to chop off their legs and have like special
They'll be
jumpy
like,
legs.
I have
and
total control. What are you talking
frog
about?
legs and
Shutting down. Yeah, it'll be nuts.
Yeah.
Have you
I've-
seen Black Mirror?
a couple
yeah,
episodes? Yeah.
There's a really good one about all this sort of crazy, just load yourself up, or
Mm-hmm.
every time you walk past someone, they sort of rate you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because they can scan, like, if you have an RFID chip now, it can be scanned and, like, people can get the information off your chip.
And then someone's going to hack it and be like, they'll have a real low rating, but they'll make it look like they have a 4.8
Right.
out of
It'll
5.
it'll be like changing your
It'll be
report
scandalous,
card. Mom
yeah.
will never
The-
know that I failed chemistry now.
think about what's happening. Think about what happened with all the vaccine mandates. Now think about what would happen if everyone's hooked up to a two-way computer connection to your own brain. The government's going to say, for everyone's good, you need to install this antivirus software in your Neuralink, and everyone's going
Right.
to go, okay, and it's going to literally start sending information into your brain.
Right.
Like
So
that.
dangerous.
And then
There'll
it's
be.
going to download. You're not even going to know it's downloading.
It'll be like
It's going to
man.
corrupt
this
all
person
of the
needs to
Thoughts
die.
will be
Right?
downloaded.
Well, but that is what Elon Musk's Neuralink is all about. That's part
Right.
of it. It's so that you can, it's like I'm such a dork. It's like the Binars in Star Trek. They have like their whole, but it's like
Yes.
once everyone is linked by these neural links, there'll be a lot more information that people will have, but there also will be no individuality, no independence, no liberty, no freedom.
Wrong analogy.
You don't think it's the
They-
Binars?
No,
They
it's the
have
Borg.
Oh, well, there's that too.
Yeah.
The Binars, I guess, were like the innocent version.
It'll be
Right.
like the Borg, but they're going to
because they did have their world computer. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
They're going to think they're individual. The Borg at least knew they are part of the collective. These people are going to think they're individuals, but they're going to be being controlled. Well,
Borg had
kind
a
of is
queen-
what's happening now with TV and commercials and stuff. We're being manipulated without realizing it.
Well, yeah, there was a recent ad. There was a recent Adidas ad that was all about, it was like women in sports. except it was all about trans women in sports, you know.
Really?
And yeah,
Did it show any females?
it did show some, but like trans women was like a big part of it.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.